Israel is about to
right at this
invade
moment.
Gaza. They're talking about a ground invasion of Gaza, and they're preparing for it.
Gnarly.
This is terrifying.
Yeah.
It's so terrifying because we're so close to World War III. We're so close.
It's no joke, man. That's really feels like that's what's happening.
It is happening.
Yeah.
It scares the fucking shit out of me.
Yeah, it does me too.
And someone from the government was just having some sort of a press conference where they're saying, we are at war and war is messy. And I'm like, whoa. Shouldn't we be doing everything we can to avoid this? Every single possible thing that we can to avoid this.
And it doesn't seem like they look ahead. They just go, here's what we got to do.
Right.
Here's what we have to do. Like, I get it. It's like what happened on October 7th, was it?
Yeah.
Is horrible. Absolute atrocity and like barbaric and absolutely terrible. And I get it. You have to retaliate and you have to do what you got to do. But how do you do that? Like of course you want to get rid of Hamas. That sounds great. You know what I mean? I completely support that. I think everybody supports that for the most part. But how do you do that without so much collateral damage? It's ridiculous. And then even more important than that is fast forward 5 years from now.
Right.
What happens? Like,
what are the repercussions?
Yeah. Especially around that whole area with all those Arab countries.
Yeah.
And we're backing that. We're backing them killing all these people there. And we're also backing Ukraine against Russia. And now it's looked like we're going to back Taiwan. We just sent an aid package to Taiwan, billions of dollars to Taiwan. It's like we're opposing all these, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're opposing China, Russia, and now these Arab countries.
Yeah, it's scary, man.
I'm not the person to talk politics, but that, I mean, or international military strategy. But I just watching the news and trying not to, and just try. And it's funny because I mean, I've always known about Israel and Palestine just from what I hear on the news and like just sort of hearing, like kind of understanding on the most surface level. And it wasn't until now, age 51, where I've been watching, like listening to podcasts, watching documentaries, trying to like educate myself and like figure out what this conflict, how it came to be, what the history was. And it's the more I try to learn about it, the more complicated it seems.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's terrifying, and the consequences for all of us are so grave. Because if it does go completely sideways, if someone goes nuclear, we're fucked. We're fucked. The world's fucked. I mean, we're getting knocked back into the Stone Age, if we're lucky. If we're lucky. If we're not lucky, the whole human race gets wiped out.
And all it takes is one person to go rogue.
Yeah.
And like you saw for Hamas to do what they did in Israel, that was totally strategic. They didn't do it. They didn't like do all that barbaric shit in that way, like just to prove a point. It was super, like they wanted a crazy emotional response. They were trying to escalate the situation, obviously, right? Like you would never do that without going, what is this going to do? It's obviously they're going to full on airstrikes, ground invasion. It's pretty obvious that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So they basically wanted that to happen. They wanted, like, I listened to the Coleman Hughes podcast. You just had Coleman on the show a couple days ago, whatever that was. The way he broke that down, how he simplified everything, and like he made so much sense out of it. But I just can't stop thinking about the repercussions of retaliation and escalation and getting every single other country involved, and it's just wild.
When it gets me is late at night when I'm alone. This was even before the Hamas invasion. It was just thinking about Ukraine and Russia. I would be at home and, just go through the news feed and read some stories, and then everyone in my house would be asleep and I'd be awake, and I'd just going, fuck. Is this the last days of normal civilization?
Yeah. Because
every movie where, we ascend into the apocalypse or descend into the apocalypse, that's how it starts. It's like, there's normal life, you're dropping your kids off at school, bye honey, I love you. And then hours later, sirens, bombs, powers off, no water, no food, people are struggling. It's just like, if nuclear bombs start going off the world will be unrecognizable. We will be right back to barbaric Stone Age monsters in a matter of months, matter of weeks, days even. There's no power, no food, no nothing. You know, there's the fucking border's been invaded by hundreds of thousands of illegals. How many of them are militants? How many of them have snuck in across the border and are forming terror cells? We don't know. I mean, that's the giant fear.
That's for sure happening.
For sure.
There's no doubt.
For sure.
I read this thing that there's like 6 to 10 million people that came across the southern border in the last 4 to 5 years. That's as many people that live in New York City. And then like a crazy increase in people coming across the northern border.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Like, and I see it.
Yeah.
I've been in California a lot the last few months. It's insane how many more people are just obviously all of a sudden just appearing, like getting dropped off on like street corners with buses, literally just in the middle of nowhere. They literally just get off the bus with a cell phone.
But look at New York City. When Coleman was explaining how New York City
Yeah.
literally has a mandate to house its homeless.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be the people that lived there that were down on their luck. And now it's people that have come in from other cities or other countries rather, illegally. And they're trying to make it so that those people can vote. And you see what they're doing with people
That's
from
so
Venezuela?
Crazy.
They're sending people
Yeah.
back from Venezuela.
Only from Venezuela.
Yeah, because Venezuela opposes socialism. So they're not going to vote Democratic.
Yeah.
They don't want those people.
That's crazy.
It's fucking wild.
It's crazy how it's so odd. Like when you start thinking about it like that, that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it's like totally political, all these moves.
100%.
Yeah.
They're literally importing Democratic voters.
Yeah.
They think by allowing the borders to be porous and by giving people aid and giving people housing that you're essentially guaranteeing that if you can rig it so that those people are allowed to vote, those people are going to vote Democratic. And if you could say that, oh, voter ID is racist, like what? Voter ID is racist.
That's crazy
but
they think that.
but
And
it's
they
not-
don't think that. They don't think
No,
that. They know
it's-
that that's not true.
It's horseshit.
Yeah.
It's all political horseshit. But that's unfortunately the level of discourse that we have today, especially with all the virtue signaling on social media and all the people clamoring to prove that they're the most progressive and the most open-minded and equitable, and we're all down for inclusivity and like,
Yeah.
bro.
There's going to be repercussions to all that for sure. I mean, you see the videos in New York City and Chicago and these places where they're just dropping all these people off. They'll like video 500 people in a row and it'll be like 2 women. And almost everyone's like between 20 and 30 years old.
Yeah.
It's all military age dudes.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think's going to happen 5 years from now
Right.
with like 10 million illegal immigrants here?